you have. So you want to show real achievement in your field of studies. The same with your academic qualification. You want to come out and show some real achievement. So that's where I'm talking about the fact that you have to track the record of, they are tracking the record of your success. They want to see what is it that you have as accomplishment? What academic accomplishment do you have? What professional accomplishment do you have? And when we are talking about academic accomplishment, we are talking about things like, did you have an award maybe for, as a best math student? Did you have a scholarship? Were you placed on an honor roll? Those are track record of achievement, of real achievement. In terms of professional achievement, do you have an award? Are you like a best teacher award, the best whatever field you find yourself? What kind of recognition have you had in your professional life for the things you have done? So you want to project this, but then again, you are not just showing this thing for the sake of showing. You are not just like trying to show them that, oh, I have this recognition. No, you want to tie this in with why you are a better fit for the program you are going in for. Let me give you an example. You want to do engineering, all right? And then you have an award for a best math student. The way you're going to present it is not just saying that, oh, I was given an award as the best math student among these. They don't want to see you presenting yourself as the champion. That's not what they're looking at. They want to see you show how this maths, this thing is the math award, the award in the best math is going to help you in the engineering field. So the way you present it is that you want to show how important mathematics is in the study of engineering. So you demonstrate how important mathematics is in the study of engineering. Then you now show that they demonstrate that the fact that you were given this award is testament to the fact that you are a solid math student and that you will be able to succeed in the field of engineering. So that is that is how you're presenting it. So you are not just presenting the award as a hero. Oh, here am I. I'm the hero. I have an award. You will come across as showing up, as being arrogant, as being proud. That is how you come across, and you're not going to be a good candidate in that domain. So in that case, you want to wrap the statement in a way that shows that you are bringing this statement up to prove that you are capable to succeed in the field of engineering. Then again, what the admission, the selection committee will be looking at in your research objective is your interest in the program. They want to see your interest in the program. They want to see that you have some interest in that program. And here again, you have to avoid cliches. You have to avoid overused statement and generalized statement like, I am passionate about engineering. I am passionate about public health. You don't need to make those statements. Those are statements. What you need to understand is that this selection committee have been reading tons and tons of ACs over the years, and they are used to all these empty words that ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be an engineer. Those are words that are very common. Anybody can say that. So that is not how you want to present it. Rather, to show your interest in engineering, show a project that you have done, if you have carried out. Maybe you developed something, or maybe you carry on a research on something that shows your interest in it. For example, let me come back again with my field of education. But this time around, let me talk about a teacher. Instead of just writing, ever since I was a child, I have always been interested in being a teacher. Instead of doing that, what I will be doing is that I will say that when I was in high school, I spent my summer holidays teaching young people who had difficulties in mathematics or difficulties in English language. That demonstrates your passion in teaching. All right, you see that I have simply shown my passion in teaching without necessarily just telling them that I am passionate about teaching, or without using the usual cliche that ever since I was a child, I've always loved to be a teacher. No, I've simply just demonstrated by the things I do that I have always loved to be a teacher. So that is what you want to do in your personal statement. And then when you do in your study research objective, and then when you do that, do not forget to link that up to what you want to study. Don't leave it hanging. So when you talk about your interest in what you want to study, and then you demonstrate it with a concrete example of your passion in the field, you tie that into your interest, into what you want to study. Like, because of that, that is why I think that I want to do this and that and that. So they want to see a trend, a trajectory. They want to see that, okay, this person, while he was in high school, he was teaching young people. He developed that interest in teaching and then went to a École Normale. The simple fact that you went to École Normale is already a demonstration too, again, of your passion for teaching, and that you got selected and you are in the École Normale. You talk about your years of teaching, the kind of things we're doing in your teaching, not just about you getting to the classroom and teaching and coming out, but the kind of activities that you were doing that demonstrate your passion in teaching. Maybe improving the teaching skills of other colleagues, like holding workshops and using your interest in research you have done in maybe something like competency-based education. You have carried on research in this area of competency-based education to understand how competency-based teaching can actually be done in a classroom situation. And I'm sorry, I'm getting too much into the education field. That is where I belong, and that is why I'm using that example. But whatever I'm saying in the field of education, you can easily also use that in any other field for which you are applying, whether it be engineering, be it in public health, or whatever. You can always use that. Then still, to demonstrate your interest, it is always important to demonstrate why is it a match with what you have done previously. How is my interest in international and comparative education a match to my undergraduate degree? How is it a match with my professional work? So you want to tie that in. You want to show how it is a match. And when you're showing how it is a match, again, you are not just saying it. You are not just saying that it is a match. You are demonstrating that it is a match. And how do you demonstrate that it is a match? You get into specific courses in the field of education, in what you study in your undergraduate studies, specific things in it, and tie it to that. For example, I would say that my undergraduate courses in educational psychology, curriculum development, and whatsoever, aligns with international and comparative education, in that I place the connection. Okay, so I get specific courses. I show how it aligns with international and comparative education, and I show the way that they are interrelated. I talk about my professional experience and show how, through my professional experience, it is always a good idea to talk about a weakness that you discover in your career, something that you were doing, and a weakness that you notice. For example, if you are dealing with issues of development, and you're applying to do a development studies program. You talk about your professional experience, you talk about things like that, and then you get somewhere you say that at some point in your career, you were faced with a challenge to execute a project on this and this and that. And you realize that in the course of doing that, you lack basic skills in project management. You are not just saying that you lack that skill. You show that even though you did not have that skill, you show how you were able to overcome that challenge that you have in that. But explain that though you were able to overcome that challenge, you feel that you need a solid grounding in project management. And this course in development and development studies and whatever aligns with this issue of project management because there is an aspect of project management in it. So you are really interested in it because of that aspect of it. So avoid just making general statements. Tie it down to specifics. The more specific you are with your essay, the better it is for you. Then you want to demonstrate your passion for the field. Again, I've explained that. It's not about just stating that I've always been passionate in development studies. I've always been passionate in public health. No, demonstrate how passionate you are. Demonstrate your passion for it. So in the next slide, I'll give you some examples. And then you look at it, and then we'll have an exchange. It will be an interaction where I want you to try to identify the weaknesses and the strength in those examples that I'll present to you. Then finally, they want to see your writing skills. You are getting into graduate studies. Graduate studies in the United States is basically writing and writing and writing. You are doing a lot of research and doing a lot of writing. You write research papers. So you'll be writing research papers and turning in research papers almost on a weekly basis. So they want to start seeing if you are the kind of person who can present a clear and logical piece of writing. So you don't want to show from your essay that you are a careless person with so much errors and that you cannot take your time and present something in a way that would flow logically for somebody to really grasp what you are talking about. So this is the first step, the first test for them to see if you're a real fit for graduate programs in the United States. So right now, I'll give you a few examples of demonstration of interest or passion or whatever. So now look at this example. I am interested in public health because I want to help the people in my community. I want a volunteer or anybody to tell me what they find as weakness with this particular statement. What do you think is a weakness in this statement? Yes, I'll call on Mbamu Gunka.
Okay, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I hope you can get me.
Yes, yes.
Okay, from the statement seems to be very general because every other person will also say that he or she wants to do a particular thing to help people because in the end of it, it's all about helping people. So if everybody wants to help, it's still just general.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Carl. So that's it. I will want to give the floor for one or two more people. I'll ask Mbacha Andong.
Okay, it's kind of similar to what Carl said. It looks a little bit vague and not precise. So like the statement doesn't communicate any form of passion or any goal, in fact.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. I see a lot of hands up. I wanted to get a lady. I'm trying to find out who is a lady here. It's difficult for me to decipher. Okay, I can see Eleanor. Eleanor. My name Eleanor. You need to unmute yourself and talk. Okay, she is struggling to do that. So Alvin, I can say Alvin too. Alvin.
Good evening, everyone. Well, what I see with this demonstration is that cliche phrase, I am interested in public health. It's very cliche. So I added to what my other colleagues have said. I think that if I'm reading many, going through many essays and I see that, I will just be turned off.
Beautiful. All right, so I'll take us now to a second example, and then we see how that example correct the error, the weaknesses that we have identified here. So here in this example, this candidate says, volunteering with HIV positive individual in a community program. Sorry, my screen is, all right. So volunteering with HIV positive individuals in a community program impressed upon me the critical importance of improving our understanding of HIV. I feel driven to work towards improved treatment with few side effects. So here, you can clearly see that this candidate has demonstrated his passion in the field. He volunteered in, or his interest in the field, in that he volunteered with HIV positive individuals in his or her community. And from there, he learned from it that this that it is critical to understand improving why it is important to improve HIV, the understanding of HIV, something like that. And from there, the person now drew the inspiration that he wants to improve treatments with few side effects. So with all of this, you see that the person's interest is clearly demonstrated. All right. So right now we are going to look at I'm running out of time already, but do not bother. Good thing I'm the moderator and the presenter at the same time. All right. So how to write a study research objective. Now, we have seen all of those things that they need, that they are looking at in your study research objective. Now, the question is, how do you put this down in black and white? How do you put it down in pen and paper? This is what we are trying to look at here. So here, basically, I will not be getting into the details of telling you how to write whatever, but I'll just be presenting to you what you are expected to put at what section of the application. So at the very beginning of the application, you want to start by answering the question, what do I want to study and why? Don't make the error of leaving the answer to this question until later. Don't allow the selection committee to go hunting for the answer of this question. They should not go looking for it. Present it right at the beginning of your essay. What do you want to study? And why do you want to study it? So you want to present the broad area that you want to study, which is, example, education. Then you want to talk about the specific area that you want to study. And you want to talk about why do you want to study this briefly. All of this is brief. You are saying all of this in your introduction. And that is to set the tone. You want to set the tone of the rest of your paper so that it gives the selection committee an idea of where you are heading, where you are going to. what you want to present, what you want to describe to them. They already have all of that at your introduction. And they already know that this candidate, candidate A, candidate B, or candidate C, interested in business, and his particular interest is finance. So you want to see that right at the beginning of your essay. So I'll show you an example of a well-written answer to this question: what do I want to study and why? Which forms your introduction to your study research objective. So the candidates say, I am interested in the field of education. Specifically, I'm looking to pursue a master's degree in education policy with a particular focus on using innovative and evidence-based solutions to enhance access to quality and equitable education in developing countries like Cameroon. With this degree, I aim to work as policy expert in the Ministry of Education in Cameroon in the area of policy development, and use qualitative and quantitative analysis to evaluate and create policies that will improve access to education and performance of students in public schools. What do you like about this? I want to see volunteers. What do you like about this particular introduction? And if at all you find a weakness in it, feel free to point out that there is this weakness, I realize. Yes, Andon.
Okay, so what I like about the statement is that number one is it's very specific and like it's personal, like it humanizes the person who has written it. And so whoever is reading this particular statement can like feel the interest that this person has in pursuing whatever thing like that they want to study. And like you can see that based on the works that the person has written in the statement, the person is really passionate about what they want to pursue.
Thank you. Also, I see John Paul.
Okay. So added to what my colleague just said, this thing a person is going to do after obtaining the degree of whatever he or she is going to study. So I think there's some sense of direction in it also. Thank you.
Right. Okay. I hope I can see all the hands. Okay, Amot.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. From my own point of view, I see that this is targeted towards a specific zone, specific area in terms of giving quality education after the training. Though at the beginning, he's interested, first of all, in education. So it permits him to have another quality experience that he's going to use in order to deliver better or quality education when coming back from the training. So that's what I see as a remark here.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So based on the reaction we've had, you see that in this introduction, the candidate has set the tone. The candidate has clearly shown to the selection committee that they are interested in the field of education, that the field of education is the broad field of study where they're interested in. And they have shown that specifically they want to do a master's in education policy. And then the candidate even goes further to identify aspects within the education policy. He talks about using innovative and evidence-based solutions to enhance access to quality and equitable education. So he's not just talking about education policy. Education policy is broad. You can find education policy in several other aspects. So he has gone down to, or she has gone down to the specific, that he's interested in access to quality and equitable education. And then another issue is that the person has contextualized it. He has presented the area where he's interested in. That is developing countries. That is the zone, the region where he's interested in. And then he goes further to talk about what he will like to use this degree for. He showed clearly that he wants to use this degree to work as a policy expert in the Ministry of Education in the area of policy development. So he will be liking to doing what? Developing policies in that area. And that he wants to use qualitative and quantitative analysis to evaluate and create policies that will improve access to education and performance of students in public schools. So that is an introduction that set the tone. Now in the middle, in the body of your essay, you will be giving more details. You'll be talking more about it. But here, it already set the tones. The next part of your essay, which will now be the body and the first paragraph in your body. In the first paragraph of your body, talk about your professional interest in the field, your research interest in that field. So you want to talk about those things that you talked about. You want to elaborate on, you want to expound on those things. Example, in that example we talk about, you want to talk more about access to education. You want to mention that. You talk about access to education. Then if there are particular themes, methods, theories, etc., in that, you want to start bringing that in at this point. This is the time when you want to elaborate on these themes. So for example, in that, for that example, the theme, the area where you want to talk more on is, 1 minute, please, 1 minute. Yeah, Jerome. Yeah. Okay, all right. Let me do that. All right, okay. 1 minute. I have somebody, just 1 minute, please. I'll be back. Just a second. I'm terribly sorry. There was an emergency and I had to attend to it right away. So I'm so sorry about that. We just continue. Okay. All right. So we were talking about particular themes in your field that you have to talk about. So you need to elaborate on that. Then you identify particular problems. What problems are you hoping to solve or address through your work or future career? So you identify a problem, and it is always a good idea to limit the problem within a particular scope. Don't try to act as if you want to come back and solve all the problems in the world. So limit your problem within a particular scope, within a particular area. Maybe you want to solve this problem within the area of public school education in Cameroon, or you want to even limit it to solving a problem within the conflict zones in Cameroon, or whatever you specify. Just specify the area where the problem is and where you intend your work to be. So in that case, when you'll be talking about that, you will now be talking about your future goals. You'll be mentioning your future goals in that respect. Okay. Then the next part of your essay, in this case, I want you to split this part into 2 paragraphs. The first paragraph should talk about your academic background. So in this case, we are talking about your background. You want to show how your background, the things you've done in your background, how they are a fit to what you want to study. So you want to elaborate on that. So here you'll be answering questions like, what major projects have you worked? Did you write a thesis? How is your thesis relevant to what you want to do? Did you do an amazing internship somewhere? What did you learn from that internship? How is what you learned from that internship going to help you in your field of study when you engage your field of study, this field of study you're interested in? How will what you learn from your internship help you in that field? Then did you work on a research project or something? In all of these things, questions that you'll be answering, you will be showing what you learned from it and how you will use that, or how that will help you in your studies. So all of these questions, very important. Do you have any papers you published? Have you presented at any conference? And each of these things you're talking about should be relevant to the study, to what you want to study. They should not just be isolated. They should not just be hanging and just be something that you're just mentioning, but should be relevant to what you want to study. Things like clinical experiences. Do you have any clinical experiences, depending on whether you're in a medical field or whatsoever? Did you create a curriculum for those who are in the education field? Then coming to talk about your work experience. If you have those work experience, how is it relevant to your program? How is your work experience relevant to your program? What is it that you have done in your work experience? I mentioned this earlier where I talked about somebody doing development studies and the weakness the person may have found in trying to manage a project. So all of these things, you tie them in to what you want to study. Then again, you talk about you mention competencies and skills that you build, all the skills and competencies and knowledge that you build throughout, from your academic to your professional life and all of that, and how you can carry this over to your planned study or your research or whatsoever. Then your major accomplishment. Do you have any major accomplishment? We have spoken elaborately about this. We've talked about how you can fit your accomplishment into all of this and tie it to it. You talk about the accomplishment. So when you structure your essay, you follow this different structure and you have an essay that is logical. Through that, somebody can clearly see the trajectory that you follow, the steps that you follow to get to this decision, to arrive to the point where you said, okay, the time is right for me in my career, for me to have this diploma or have this master's certificate in order to use it to build on that. So now, before I conclude very quickly, I want to emphasize on this issue of you being specific. And what I want to emphasize is the fact that I want to use an analogy to specify this. Now, when you say that you are interested in getting married to a girl, to a young girl, you see a young girl, and you tell your father, I'm interested in this young girl. And your father asks you, why are you interested in her? You cannot just say, oh, she knows how to cook. You want to demonstrate that she knows how to cook. Okay, by using clear example, you say, I'm interested in this young girl because on Saturday she visited me and she prepared fufu and kati. This fufu and kati was so delicious, like one that I've never eaten before. This was the best fufu and kati that I've eaten. Also, there was a day she came and prepared fufu and ero, and the fufu and ero was so wonderful. So you see, you have presented two examples to demonstrate that this girl is a good fit for you, okay? If you want to show her attitude, maybe you talk about the fact that, oh, she visited me and found that my younger brother was sick, and before I even got back from work, she had taken my younger brother to the hospital and bought drugs for my younger brother and all of that. So you are demonstrating that she fits the kind of person you are looking for. So you have demonstrated that you are looking for a lady who can cook well. You have demonstrated that you are looking for a lady who can be nice to members of your family and all of that. So if somebody now wants to fit you in, to look for a woman that will fit your criteria, that person will already see those things that you have demonstrated. So that is how you present your essay. You don't present your essay by simply telling, you present it by showing. Show, don't just tell. Show that you are interested, show that you are passionate, show that you have what it takes for you to be to fit into this program. You have the tenacity, you have the passion, you have the resilience, you have the courage to be able to fit into this program. So, gentlemen, ladies, that is the bit we had for today. If Nancy is around, if you have something else to add, you can always pop in to add to that. So I already see a hand. We are open to question. I already see a hand. Teto Alvin, you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. It has explained a lot of things and also burdened a lot of questions. One specific that I would like to ask, because when I first saw research objective, study objective, I even got to Miss Nancy earlier today. In med school, when we say you have a research topic, I had a topic, knowledge, attitude, and practice. I had my general objective, specific objective, because I know I had to go to the field, collect data, and then come and compile everything, and I'll present my thesis to a jury. So when I saw this, I was like, I'm expected to have a topic. I even got to Mr. James. I was like, how will I have a topic? And then in the Cameroonian context, and then how, I don't know the United States context on how my topic can better fit in. So all the while you have been presenting, so I'm like, is interest towards a field, that means the field of study. But the research topic coming up, I'm really, really blurred. So I don't know if you're getting my mix up.
Mm-hmm. I understand you perfectly well, but let me try to answer you by asking you a short question.
Okay.
Are you applying as a research fellow, or are you as a master's student?
Master's.
Okay, as a master's student.
Yeah.
All right. If you're applying as a master's student, don't bother yourself too much about specific topics or whatever. Bother yourself about what is the field of study you are interested in. What's your field of study?
I want to master's in public health.
Okay, beautiful. You want to do a master's in public health. So what is the broad field in public health?
So public health is a broad field, and specifically community medicine. I'm still trying to, something related depending on what the College of Public Health will be offering that way.
Beautiful. Something like pathology, right?
Pathology is more clinical.
Okay, well, just to say that.
Yeah.
Just to say that you look at your broad field of study, you look at your specific field of study, and then inside those field of studies, now you can start looking at the things that you're interested in knowing more about. Let me make it very simple for you. What are you interested in finding out and knowing more about within that field of study?
Well, community medicine, that means a better approach to community health while taking into consideration the various specificity of each community.
Beautiful. So that basically is your topic. That's basically what you're working on.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what you're working on. So you don't need anything. Then for somebody who is going in as a research fellow, a PhD research fellow. That person now is going to work on his research. You have already started the research. You are already working on your thesis. So you are just going to work on that same thesis. You just want to expound on what you have already researched on. You want to elaborate on that. Nancy, do you have something to add to that?
Yes, thank you very much, Richard. And I think you really did a great job covering everything. I personally took down notes despite not preparing to write a study research objective now, but even when applying for a PhD, all these things come in handy. And I really appreciate that you touched upon a lot of things, even some I didn't know. So I took down notes and I hope other people did. And I'll just answer Alvin's question before. I just put in a little bit of, to what you have already said, just a little bit of my insights as well. And then Alvin, like I mentioned earlier, in my case, I just went into prevention. So if you're talking about community health, right? And then I really appreciate how Richard answered the question. And then you complemented it by saying, knowing the specific community. That is not a very specific research objective, if that makes sense. But someone can see where you would do your research. So in your master's program, when you're applying through the Fulbright thing, you don't really need to have a very specific level like research question that you're answering. What you have just talked about, what you guys talked about, doing community-based participatory research, that's how they will call it in public health. So that's my advice to you. Based on what we talked about, I think that's your interest. Just try to research what is community-based participatory research. It's not a very specific question, but someone can already get an idea of what you're going to be doing if you get into the field of public health. And just to add a few things to what Richard said, I just hope some of you are not getting scared that, oh, you don't have awards or very, very big things already to show for yourself. Like I said, I applied with 1 month of work experience. And then I just want to add this, when you're highlighting something, make sure that you're not highlighting the weaknesses of those things. For example, if I knew I had only 1 month of work experience, I wouldn't be putting in my essay that during my 1 month work with so-and-so organization, that would not sell me well. I just go into what I was doing during that period. I don't need to specify that I did that for a month. Someone will look at it, they will not know how long I did it. All they know is that I did it. And then in selling yourself, please don't be scared and don't minimize the things you have done. Don't think that you have done very little things. In those very little things, you can pick out. I mean, just talk about yourself so well. Some of us have, like, we are scared that if somebody asks us that, is this really what you did? You'll be like, oh, I cannot defend myself. Imposter syndrome. Please sell yourself. Nobody's going to come and beat you wherever you're seated. That can you really do these things that you say you did? If you did something, please magnify those details. Don't sell yourself short. Another thing to just add to when you were talking about the problems part, Richard, like the problems that you might want to solve or the problem that you think studying whatever interest you have will help solve those problems. One thing that Pachula told me equally is this, that to show that you know what is going on, at least mention also what is the current state of things in that field. What is, for example, if I'm talking about malaria, I know that Cameroon has the multi-impregnated nets thing. I'm supposed to know at what level is Cameroon in terms of this particular problem. And then what is what I'm doing? How is it adding to that mix? How is it taking things? How is it changing the status quo a little bit further? So it's to show that you know what is going on, you know the problems, you know the challenges, and you know the kind of things to do to move things forward. And just the last thing I would like to say is this. When you're talking about your positions, don't say I'm the director general. Director general means different things for different people. So please, they must say that I did this and that and that. If you want to mention the name, fine and good. But say how many staff you supervised, how much money you handled, talk specifics, talk. So when you talk, this is achievements, of course, and then maybe some part of work experience. If you handled a budget, a huge budgeting, talk about it. If you led a group of people under your management, talk about those things. Don't come and say you're a director general and you expect the person reading to understand what you're saying. So thank you very much, Richard, and I hope
Thank you
all of
so
us,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much, Nancy. You've really added a lot of things there that people might have misconstrued, especially the idea of achievement. You see, you don't even need an award for you to mention your achievement. If you feel fulfilled that you achieved something, you show that you achieved it. You must not say that, okay, you were given an award. You instead, they are rather interested in seeing what you did that you deserve that award. So if you say, for example, that you were able to organize a training workshop for 15 health personnel, and that helped them to do this and that and that and that, that's an achievement. If nobody recognizes their business, but that's an achievement for you, all right? Nobody might have recognized it, but you are fulfilled. You feel fulfilled that you train this number of people, and you can state that with evidence, with quantifiable and qualifiable evidence that you actually carried on that kind of a training program. So don't mistake to feel that an achievement can only be an award that you was given or something like that. So anything that you did, for example, at your job site, there may have been a challenge, a very difficult situation that your team was finding it very difficult to overcome. And then you initiate, you brought in an idea, and you guys use that idea to overcome that situation and achieve result. That is an achievement. That is an achievement. So thank you so much, Nancy, for bringing that up. That was very, very important for you to raise that before people start feeling that they need some big certificate or something for it to be an achievement. But then again, if you have a huge certificate that was given to you, an award that was given to you, don't just mention that I was given an award. It is as useless as not even mentioning it. Don't just say that, okay, I received an award for this. No, show what you did, and then show at the end that you achieved this result. And because of that result, you were recognized with this award. That's how you present it. You are not presenting it by stating that I was given an award. Just saying that you gave an award doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. So you need to be very specific. All right. Any more questions? Yes, love it.
Okay, thank you, Sir Richard, for the wonderful presentation. I want to find out, like, reading the study research, is it advisable to answer the question in the study research why USA is the best fit for you to do your master's in, and so why are you coming to US, like the cross-cultural stuff? Is it necessary for you to put it in the study research?
Yes, very, very important. It is important to talk about why you chose the US, if you want to put that. But you, again, like I said, if you say you want to talk about the US, do not just make some usual cliche that everybody says. You need to tie it down to specific. Talk about specific things within the United States that aligns with your interest, with your field of study, and why you are interested in doing that. Yes, you can mention that. And be very careful, do not mention specific universities. As a matter of fact, that is clearly stated in the prompt, in the guidelines for you to answer. They say do not mention any specific university. That is because this document, this research objective will be sent to several universities. So don't go into it and mention specific universities. I'm going to send that to several universities to look for placement for you. So you don't want to mention the name of particular universities on your AC. So that is why that note is stated. But it is okay to specify why you think that the United States is important, is the best place for you to do what you want to do. But tie it down to your field of study. If you want to do education, why is United States the best place to study educational policy? Why is it the best place to study public health? What is that specific thing within the United States that interests you? So in all, you will realize here that you need to do a lot of research. There is a lot of research that goes into this. Yes, I think I have a question on the chat box that I would like to So read out and then I answer before we come to that. Somebody said, I have a lot of fears, given the fact that I did banking and finance and at the undergraduate, and right now I want to get into cinematography. Here there is, it's a difficult question for me to answer, but I'll try to answer that. Why is it difficult? It's difficult because they want to see a trajectory. They want to see how you have prepared yourself for this course at this point. If you want to get into cinematography, you need to show the link between cinematography, between banking and finance that you did earlier, and cinematography. If you don't have that in your undergraduate study, but if you have that in your experience, if you have done some work in cinematography and you have sufficient experience in that field, be able to show how you transition from having a degree, an undergraduate degree in finance and banking into the field of cinematography. Then you now talk much about, it means that your background, you will focus more on your professional experience, where you have professional experience in cinematography, rather than on your degree, your past degree. So talk much on your experience, your academic experience, your professional experience than your academic experience. But you must explain why you were able to, why you transition from banking and finance into cinematography. You need to give that explanation. You need to prove why that transition. And you show a smooth transition from there to this. You need to find a connection somewhere that links those two together. You don't want to come across like somebody who is confused. They want to see a focused person, somebody who is focused. That's why it is always advisable that you don't just pick things here and there. You did a degree in education, then you later did a degree in engineering, then you did another degree in history, and then you come across as somebody who lacks focus, who does not even know what you want to do, who is confused. So they see you like somebody who is totally confused. So you want to be really focused. Then there is somebody putting up the hand. The person says, the person is just Zoom user. There's no name. So it's Zoom user. You can go ahead and ask the question. While we are waiting for that, there is another question on the chat box. The question says, is there supposed to be a link between the personal statement and the research or study objective? Yes, in your personal statement. Your personal statement is about you. It's talking about you. But the aspects about you that you want to highlight in your personal statement should be that which is relevant to your field of study. So though it is about you, you are talking about yourself, you are talking about how you are the person who you are, but you want to link that to, you want to make sure that it has something to do with your field of study. You don't want to start showing how you are a wonderful engineer in your personal statement, and then they come to your research objective, you start talking about public health. It doesn't tie. So in your personal statement there should be some link, but you should be careful not to repeat things in your personal statement, or don't duplicate information in both cases. Do not duplicate. And again, in your personal statement, you have to talk about achievement. You can talk about achievement. In your statement of purpose, your whatever, your study research objective, you have to talk about achievement. There are two things. The first thing is, do not mention the same achievement on both cases. The second thing is, the approach in your personal statement will be completely different in the approach you will use in your study research objective. In your study research objective, you want to show who you are. You want to show that you are somebody who is good or somebody who has been recognized because of the wonderful job you have been doing, or maybe you want to show that you are a leader in that area. In your study objective, you want to show that the achievement you got can fit in, can help you, can fit in perfectly well with what you want to study. And that it gives you the strength to what you want to study, or something like that. So it depends on how you present all of that. But again, there should be that relationship. Any more questions? Okay. So are we saying that we can conclude for the day, given that we are not seeing any question, any hands up? All right. So basically, that is that. Okay, in Nanga, yeah, we still have about 13 minutes. So if you have questions, go ahead and ask your question. In Nanga, yeah, you can ask your question.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Ndifo. I just joined when you were already so much gone into your presentation. And I just wish to find out, I am from a literary field, and I have some experience, quite a lot, more than 10 years, but I find most of your discussions based on scientific, based from the scientific field. I don't know, and I've had a failed attempt before. I feel frightened, like someone said, that most of the candidates or most of the nominees are taken from the scientific field. That's my fear. So my question is, can I push forth? Can I move forward, even though I'm literary, even though it's not really educational?
No, when you say literary, can you be specific? Can you tell me what your
language teaching? It's an English language teaching.
You are a teacher, right?
Yes, I am an English language teacher.
And what field of study are you interested in?
In the teaching of English to second language users. That's TESOL.
Beautiful. All right. So now go ahead. I just wanted to get the context so that when I'm answering your question, I know what context.
Okay. So I'm saying that my fear and my question is, how can one really write a winning research AC? That's my fear, because I've had a failed attempt before, and I'm afraid to have it repeated. And based on all the discussions, your discussions are based mostly on science, public health, people started talking about medicine, talking about clinical experiences, and some of us don't have that. So
right.
That's my worry.
Yes, Enanga, don't get frightened. I was just mentioning the things that come to my mind. Things that comes up to my mind, that was what I was mentioning. It has nothing to do with whether it's engineering or whatsoever. I was just mentioning the things that came up. When I'm talking, whatever I think about, I mention it. Now, listen, you want to talk about teaching students who want to teach English to people to whom English is a second language. That is an area. You just need to find out your how they call it, your focus. Yeah, that's your focus. That's the area where you want to focus. So I think your broad area of study is education. And I mentioned education here. And then you want to get into teaching, which is curriculum and teaching. And then you want to go further to do based on teaching English to foreign students. All of that, you can always come out with something on that. And I'm sure you are doing this for a master's program. Don't bother so much about that word research. I think I would have even removed the research word in it. I included it because I know there might be some people who want to do research. Focus on the term study, your study objective. What is your study objective? What is it you want to study? So whatever you have to be presenting, talk about teaching as a second language to students. So for example, if you want to be talking about the things you have been doing, what have you been doing in that area, in that field? Probably you have been teaching English for the past 10 years. What are the things you have been doing in that area of teaching of English? Those are the things you have to be highlighting. What is you want to talk about your interest? What is it in TESOL that you really want to focus on, you want to be interested in? Do research on TESOL and you look at some of the aspects that you want to highlight, and then you talk about it. So you are very fine. There was a candidate who applied for food science. And the candidate was selected, even though the candidate was wondering whether they can select him for food science or something like that. But the candidate was selected. So basically, Fulbright can take you for any subject, any field that you want to apply in, but just be able to show them that you have passion for it and that you have prepared for it and you have what it takes to succeed in it. That is all they want to see. Elvis.
Thanks, sir, for the very interesting presentation, which was quite elaborate and I think for the most part clear to me. I have two questions, sir. The very first one, some of us have had the call it academic profile where at the bottom you were confused, you were not certain of your vision, and later on you got clarified. My question is, are you obliged to justify maybe certain degrees which maybe do not tally with your career goals and with what you're applying for? Are you obliged? Maybe you have 2 bachelor's degrees, but the very first one was when you did not really have that orientation and it has nothing to do. I say so because sometimes I know someone may Google about this candidate and they see certain things, and is it an issue? Could it maybe be a worry in their minds as to why did this person study this and it is not linked, and maybe the person did not talk about it? That's the first question. Are you bound to justify maybe certain degrees or certain academic achievements which do not tally with what you're going in for? My second question is, if you've had a master's before, like you already have a master's degree and you've been in the field and you've identified another area, maybe like you said, a challenge, and you feel you want to build capacity in that area, and that's your motivation for another master's, is it an issue that you have a master's and you want a second master's?
Thank you so much for your question. For the first question, you are not obliged. In as much as your second degree ties very well with what you want to study, you're perfectly okay. Now, one thing you should understand is that we say take aspects of your academic career and highlight them. We didn't say take all aspects. You are not taking all aspects. You are selecting a few of those aspects. First of all, this essay you're writing is limited. It's limited sometimes to 1 page or maybe 2 pages. You will not have the time to put all the things that you have, all your achievement and whatsoever. So identify aspects that align with what you want to do, and that is what you highlight. You are not compelled to highlight everything. On the second question, whether you have a master degree and you can still go in for a second master, it's a resounding yes. All is that you have to show why do you need this second master's. In my case, I had a master's degree in history before coming to do a master's in international comparative education. I had a master's in history. So there is nothing bad in that. If you had a master's degree, that is perfectly fine. Just be able to explain why do you need this master's degree at this time, this particular master's degree at this time. Remember I said your degree, your field of study, your study research objective is about your future. It's not about your past. So don't worry so much about your past. It's about your future. But you need your past to connect your future. You want to see your past, and then you want to see how your past smoothly connect to your future. So if you have something in your past that can connect to your future, that's perfectly fine. You don't need to go worrying about all other things around your past that you want to link it to your future. Arvin, your hand is up. We have 5 more minutes.
Okay. Sorry, my question comes in pulses. I think last orientation meeting we had with the guys from the US Embassy, the alumni that were guiding us were talking about it's some sort of a give and take. You're going to take quality education, you're going to acquire a lot of skills and whatso, and all not in the United States. But what are you bringing to the table? Like, you should also say what you are bringing into the whole show. And I'm like, what can Arvin bring? I'm confused because I don't see myself bringing anything. Just need some guidance, please.
All right. So you want to know what you bring in. Yeah. What you're bringing to the table will definitely you'll be found in your personal statement.
Okay.
It will be found in your personal statement. And it could also be in your research objective and all of that. Many people are confused with this question. What are you bringing into the program? In my case, for example, I am bringing my years of experience as a teacher, the work I have done in the field of education and all of that. That is what I'm bringing into the program. That is what I'll be sharing. That is what I'll be sharing with other experts, with other students in my class and whatsoever. Those experiences, the things I've done in the field of education, the challenges I've had and how I overcome those challenges. Those are the things I will be sharing with the other participants or other students in the classroom. So that is what, when they say what you're bringing, they're not asking you what money are you bringing or what or that you should carry what traditional clothes would you carry to come and give to which person. That's not, they're not talking about that. They're talking about in your field, what is it? Maybe you have done a research on something. All right, you started research on something. That research work that you have started, that is what you're bringing into that program. You have done one project, you started a project, you did a project and all of that on a particular area and a particular field. You want to bring that into the program. That is your contribution. That is what you're bringing in. So they are not talking about something that is like a physical good or gift that you want to come and give to somebody. So that is what you are bringing, basically. I hope you understand that very clearly, Alvin.
Yes,
are you clear with that, or you're still confused?
I am clear. I'm very clear. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Yes. So, any other question? 2 minutes to go. Maybe I call Jimmy to say what, then we round up.
Hello, everyone. It's always fascinating to listen to, the Fulbright experience being shared on a platform like this. One particular thing I loved from what Richard presented is that aspect that when they ask you about why you want to do this field, you should not just tell them that from childhood I've loved it. No, you have to narrate a situation that helps them to see how deep that aspect was new. I remember during my interview, they asked me why I chose to be a teacher. So one of the things I said, by then I didn't have any orientation though. One of the things I said was that from childhood, I watched my elder brothers teaching in the Sunday school, and I happened to have been in a community where in fact, most of us have parents who were never educated. So I started teaching in the Sunday school at a very early age. And because I was one of the few educated in the community, before I knew, even while I was in primary school, I was already able to read lessons in my major congregation. And there were chances that I had to preach when I just started from 1. So that pressure on me got me into teaching at a very early age. So these are things I narrated. At the time I was narrating, I didn't know how much weight they carried. But when you hear how others talk about them, you know how to better convey your story, because there are lots of people with incredible stories, but how to pass that message across is the problem. And sometimes when you have so much experience and you can't convert it into a beautiful story that you can market, then you're not different from somebody who's not had a lot of experience. Just listening to most of you here ask very intelligent questions, getting the way you analyze your presentation. I see so much potential in this group, and I just hope that at the end of the day, some of us will see these dreams come true sooner. So for tomorrow, we shall be moving into the Fulbright Research Scholar Program, for which most of you here are eligible. And even if you're not eligible, just attending it will help you to pick up 1 or 2 elements that you can help to enrich your application. So at this point, we take it that the 2 days have been very inspirational for you. They've triggered you to discover yourself more. Look at areas that you can really package very well and strategically market. So on Saturday, we shall be concluding this mentorship session. And we probably, I don't know if we'll be fortunate to have some people from the embassy participate to see how it is. It's a Saturday, and normally they don't function, but if they can, then that would be cool. So in that light, I'm saying that from now till that Saturday, step up your effort. I'm proud of the people who have already written their essays. They've written all their stuff, and they were waiting for this opportunity to see how to shape it up, to fine tune it. So do more of that work. Don't wait till the deadline, because that deadline may come and you just shift it to next year. So if you shift it one more day, you risk shifting it one more year. So avoid a situation like that. Prioritize this, because this is one thing that can transform who you are. You can change your identity. You can create a whole new set of opportunities for you that will define the next you for the rest of your life. At this point, it's been a great time with you, and we are looking forward to tomorrow. A shout out to all the mentors, a shout out to all of you engaging. Just being part of this puts you several steps ahead of many others. Have a great evening and see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you so much, James. I want to thank the people here for their passion. The fact that you're here shows how much you are willing to submit your application. So we're encouraging you to do so. Submit your application. Don't be afraid to fail. It is only he who do not try that does not gain. So nothing bad in trying. So make sure you submit your application. And again, the admins are there. They're ready to look at your application and give you some feedback if it's possible. Just to say that we are having very, very difficult situation here, because most of us, we are into final exams, and many of us are really, really busy. So be patient. If you send your essay and we don't look at it immediately, just be patient. We'll try to look at it. There are so many people, we may not look at all of them, but we are going to try to see if we can look at some of those essays. So thank you again so much. I'll be sharing the PowerPoint on the forum, so that you can also get to, if you miss out some points, you can always look at it again. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful day, or good night to all of you.
Yeah, just to add, we have seen some people say they're not in the WhatsApp group. If you're not there, we have dropped an email address there. You can send a message to the email address, and then we'll add you to the WhatsApp group. Or if you contact any of the panelists, they will connect you. And any other person who is here in the WhatsApp group, then they will send you the information about the WhatsApp group or one of our numbers so that you can get it. Thank you, Richie. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Thanks so much. And good night to everybody.